It's now time for the Executive Edge. A new study out from creditcards.com breaking down the best and worst tippers in the country. Coming in first, Republicans at the top of the list, Northeasterners and men. Meanwhile, Democrats, Southerners, women, and cash users, the cheapest when it comes to gratuity. For more on the results, I want to bring in Matt Schulz. He's the senior industry analyst at creditcard.com. We've been talking about tips just now. First of all, can we just talk about the sort of baseline? We were talking before about how it's turned into 20%. Is that real?
Well, we're not sure if 20% is the new 15%, but at a minimum, it's pretty clear that people now see 15% as a floor rather than a ceiling when it comes to tipping. The truth is that the median was about 18%, so it's somewhere in between 15 and 20.
And in terms of generous tippers, you talked about Republicans and men being, well, what is a generous tip these days?
Well, a generous tip would be above 20%. And really what we saw is that the thing that ties all of the groups together that are best tippers is that it's really all about income. And it may not come as any surprise that the more cash you have, the more likely you are to plunk a little bit more down at the table at the end of the night.
But what do you think about all these signals and cues? There has been what might be described as tipping inflation that has definitely creeped up at least faster than it used to, or at least felt like it, in the sense that you take a taxi cab in a lot of major cities, they recommend the tip to you, oftentimes giving you few options below, frankly, 20%.
No, it's usually 15, 18, 20.
Oh, now I see it 20, 25. I've seen it 25, 20, 25, 30. I've also seen now the signals that you see at the bottom of a receipt where they actually lay it out for you in a new way. How much do you think that's pushed people to pay higher tips?
It's a really big driver, and it's not just more tips, it's tips in different places. The coming of Square and technologies like that make it easier to pay with credit cards in more places, make it also easier for you to tip more in places where maybe before you threw down $1, now maybe you're tipping a little bit more because it's easier to use your credit card because of the technology.
Matt, I find myself being happier to tip with a credit card, maybe because I don't see the cash, but I also now hardly carry cash. So I'm actually less inclined. Unfortunately, sometimes I even have to do this. I go to my pockets, and I don't have cash to give in certain instances. How much do you think that's affecting things?
I definitely think it's a thing. I think everybody has been in a situation where they're rummaging through their pockets to find a couple of singles to tip somebody, and there's certainly been situations where you ended up not tipping somebody because you didn't have the cash. Because credit cards make tipping so much easier these days, that's probably becoming a lot less common.
But what happens then to the guy in like the parking garage attendant who depends on that cash, and there really is no mechanism to do it with a credit card, at the moment at least?
Yeah, it's a tough thing. The truth is that people, the less they carry cash, the more they're going to run into situations like that where somebody in the service industry may not get the tip that they should, and that's a shame.
Do you want to weigh in? Do you think we should be tipping the guy at the gas pump? This was a question earlier we had posed.
At a full-service place, maybe. My general rule of thumb is that if it's a business you're going to go to and you're going to spend time there and a person you're going to see on a regular basis, when in doubt, go ahead and give a tip.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.